Hello, everybody. I'm Samira, and this is Wrestling News Co.'s YouTube channel. I'm joined by Chelseaagreen today. How are you doing?
Thank you for having me. I'm really good. I really cannot complain. Life is pretty good right now.
I love the background you got going on back there. That is just like so cool. I've never seen anything like that before.
I mean, honestly, okay, so when I hopped on here, I was in a rush for the other people that do not know. I was kind of like, I just put my computer down and I was like, what's the least weird area in here? This right here with the Slimer behind me, and we've got some mats in the background. We have a proton pack. This is the least weird area right now in this room. So just take that with a grain of salt.
I like it. It's different from what I usually see, so I really like that. So you just shot your first cover for Fitness Girls. What was that like?
Oh my gosh, I had such a good experience because I flew out to Los Angeles to shoot it, and I did it in kind of like Universal Studios area. And it was just such a positive experience. And it's nice to do something outside of wrestling. You know, when we kind of get into wrestling and we start training, our focus is so narrow. It's like straight and narrow. We hit the ground running, and all we want to do is be a wrestler. And so I just haven't slowed down in the past 7 years. And finally now, after being released, I'm able to kind of do these things that I wouldn't have done before because I was so set on my one goal. So it's been really awesome.
Is there any other magazines you're hoping to shoot with?
I actually just had someone reach out to me who shoots with like Maxim and FHM and stuff. So that would be really cool. But you know, I right now am not so focused on that. I feel like that's an awesome like thing that just kind of comes when the time is right. And I'm just trying to focus on other things outside of wrestling and outside of, I mean, if I guess I could say outside of modeling, but like I'm absolutely not a model. I'm like a glorified Instagram bikini model. So I'm just trying to focus on things outside of that.
So you talked on your podcast about possibly working with Playboy. How excited are you for that?
I mean, Playboy has been something that I have kind of wanted to do in some capacity. I didn't know what I wanted. I didn't know if it was that I wanted to model, that I wanted to be a part of behind the scenes, if I wanted to be a part of the digital side. I don't know, but it seems as if we're going in the direction of being a part of the digital side of the Playboy team. And that is so awesome to me because that's just like, I get to kind of like dip my toes in the water and see if I like it. And hopefully I do have some exciting news coming, but I don't know when I'm able to share it. I will be in some form joining a part of kind of like the Playboy family. And I'm so excited to share it. I wish I could tell you all about it right now.
Well, that sounds really, really fun. As we go back into, your wrestling world, what's it been like working with GCW as of late?
I mean, it seriously is a whole different world at GCW. And I think that's why I love it because, you know, I came up on the indies. So now to be able to go back to the indies and to go back to I mean, these fans are unlike any other fans. They're so passionate about GCW. So that's what I love about it. You know, whether they love me or hate me, at the end of the day, I'm there, I'm getting booked, and I am having the time of my life right now. And I'm so lucky to be a part of this crazy GCW family and fandom and fan base and whatever you want to call it.
It seems like, you and Matt, it's Effie and Alley Cat getting on your nerves, and you're actually going to get your hands on Alley Cat this Friday, GCW Evil. What do you got prepared coming for her?
I mean, here's the thing. I already know what she brings to the table, but what I bring to the table is the whole package. You know, I've been everywhere. I've been to Lucha, WWE, NXT, Impact, Ring of Honor, All In. Like I have been everywhere, and that's something that she hasn't done. So whatever she brings to the table, I've already seen it, I've already dealt with it, and I already kind of know how to counter it. So we'll see what happens on Friday, but I'm looking forward to it.
I mean, could you introduce her to the hot mess possibly?
If anything is possible, and especially at GCW with those insane fans, anything is possible.
Would you and Matt say you're like the king and queen of GCW?
Oh, absolutely. And that's what on Friday night I want to prove is that I don't just say I'm the queen of GCW, I am going to prove that I deserve to be the queen of GCW.
But we got some other couples there that would you want to face, you and Matt? We got Charlie Evans and Everett Connors, Yokai. What's your feelings about them too?
I would love to face Charlie Evans. Love, love, love to face Charlie Evans. That is someone who I have faced in the past, but as a female tag team. So a little mixed match could be in the cards. That would be great. I mean, really, we have to get through Effie and Alley Cat first to kind of prove that we deserve what we know we already deserve, if that makes sense.
I mean, now another couple that we haven't seen in GCW, but I've gotten to talk to a couple months ago was Casey Catal. Could we probably see, the Kirks versus the Cardonas? That would be probably interesting.
I met the Kirks for the first time last month or the month before, and I loved them. But I would love to get in the ring and have some sort of kind of hardcore match with them as a mixed tag team, because they really are a hardcore couple. I'm not taking anything away from that couple. They are so badass, and Matt and I are slowly diving into this world, and I think that would be an awesome matchup for the fans to see.
Now, as you were saying before, you've been everywhere: WWE, NXT, Impact, Ring of Honor, NWA. So, we've been seeing the hot mess in NWA. Could we see the hot mess versus, Crazy Mickey? I mean, both are involved in NWA and Impact, and we saw something was happening towards the end at WWE with, the tweets going back and forth. Could that, be an open match we see one day?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely never say never, because Mickey and I, we want it. We absolutely want it. And I think you guys all got a glimpse of that, in April of this year. I think at some point we will do whatever it takes to get that matchup.
Now, Mickey defeated your best friend, Deonna Purrazzo. I mean, could we possibly see VXT getting back together to take Mickey down? Or are you going to get revenge for Deonna, go after Mickey James?
I mean, I would love that, really. I definitely think that Deonna and I have some unfinished business together as a team. We never were able to explore that as much as we wished we could have. So that absolutely is going to happen in some form or fashion. Whether it's an Impact or not, I don't know, because now the world is our oyster with the independent scene. So it's booming right now. So maybe you'll see it at Warrior Wrestling. Maybe you'll see it at GCW. Maybe you'll see it at Impact or NWA. Who knows? But Deonna and I are going to go down fighting for that tag team to happen.
Is there any promotions you've had your eye on that you really want to go to?
Gosh, I mean, I guess the one promotion that I haven't gone to is AEW. Isn't that it's so crazy to say? I've done everything else, but I have yet to step in the official AEW ring. I was at All In, the only females match on the card. But I think it's time to explore that option, something I haven't explored for the past kind of 6 months. And who knows, maybe 2022 is my year.
Who knows, we could probably see, you reunite with your tag partner, Britt Baker.
Fire and ice!
So how is your wedding planning coming along? I know we're close to the date.
We're close to the date. Oh my gosh, we're 49 days out or something, or 50 days out. Wedding planning is going really well. It seems almost too easy. So maybe ask me in a month and I'll be a crazy bridezilla. I'm not really sure, but for right now, it's been really awesome. I had all my girlfriends at my dress fitting the other day. I've had my Canadian bachelorette party, and now I have my American bachelorette party coming up. So life is good. I've got one of my wedding dresses hanging up beside me here.
So what was your reaction when Montel Jordan tweeted Matt? Do you feel like now you have to do it?
I absolutely do. I don't know if you heard, I spoke about it a little bit in my podcast this week. Yeah, the hashtag for my wedding might be Mrs. How We Do It, and Montel Jordan might have to play at the reception. I don't think that I can compete with that hashtag and Montel Jordan backing it.
I know you were looking for hashtags. We could have, you could have done, mess to Mrs. I thought that was pretty funny.
Okay, wait a second. Nobody suggested that to me, or maybe I just didn't see it, but I like that.
I was because I was listening to your podcast, and then when you're oh, you haven't had a hashtag yet, I'm I mean, that sounds kind of cool.
I like that. I'm gonna put that in the bucket of options that we're gonna pull from.
Now, do you have any dream guests that you would love to have on Green with Envy?
I mean, no, because I haven't had any guests except Deanna. So it's like literally, if I was to pick a dream guest, there's like so many, right? Because I haven't had any guests on, but I would love to be on other people's podcasts. And I don't care about people coming on mine because mine is like embarrassing stories and stuff. And like, I really have to, if I have a guest on, I need them to be so transparent and I need them to be willing to share things that a lot of people just aren't willing to share. And I understand that. So no, I don't really have like any dream guests, but maybe Alex Cooper from Call Her Daddy. Maybe that would be the one because she's willing to share all of it.
And that's what I like about your podcast. You're like sharing different things. And I was just sitting there like laughing. I really like your style for the podcast.
Thank you. It's kind of, you love it or you hate it. And I'm okay with that. And I just hope eventually pull people in from other fan bases instead of it just being just the wrestling world. I'm trying to attract kind of everyone and females, around our age group. So we'll see.
So you were talking about catfishes this week on your podcast. Now, I have a story for you, my own personal experience, but I'll tell you that like after because it's kind of crazy. But my friend actually, she went on a date with some guy from Tinder and he came and like picked her up and it wasn't like who he looked like at all. And she still went out with him. She goes, you know what, let's just get the free food and I'll come home and I won't see him again. And I was just like, why would you still go out with him?
And you know what? That is what my girlfriend did. She had this guy on her couch and her gut told her like, no, but he's already here. That's the funny thing is I think as women, and maybe men do it too, I don't know, but as women, we're like too afraid to be like, bro, you are not the same person as on your profile. So bye. We're all like, we'll just eat for free and then we'll leave and never talk to the guy again.
And it's funny because I literally then right after I finished your podcast, I went on TikTok and I watched a girl literally talk about the same thing, how she was at a bar and she saw one of her Tinder dates that she was meeting up with. And when she walked out of the bar, he was a complete catfish. I was like, oh my gosh, I was just listening to Chelsea's podcast and she was going on about catfishes.
I love it. Honestly, I can't even tell you. Every time I put an episode out, the amount of people who DM me or tweet me saying that they have the same experience and share their experience. I just love it. It is so funny because people open up to me in ways that I think that they normally wouldn't. And, it's just about someone maybe that you look up to admitting that this happens to them too,
Yeah, to see the other side of you, like, that you're not all just about wrestling or this, like you have stories of your own as well that that other people can relate to.
Totally. I am a very, very normal human being that does normal things. I get my groceries at Walmart like everybody else. You know what I mean? Like what I portray on social media is not at all what I'm really like.
So, besides your podcast, you had a YouTube channel going on for like a little bit. Are you going to bring that up again?
So the only reason why I haven't continued with my YouTube channel is because I had some issues with my phone where everything got shut down. My Instagram, my Facebook, my Twitter, my YouTube, and YouTube and TikTok are the only two things that I was not able to recover. So I probably will not be getting back into YouTube just because I don't want to start all over again and try to build that platform. But you never know, never say never. I could get YouTube back somehow. Maybe someone will listen to this and help me. Who knows? So, but at this point, it's a lot of work to edit and stuff. And I mean, I was late to talk to you here. Like my world is just too busy right now, but who knows? Maybe in a month it won't be.
So as we were saying about your podcast and sharing stories, do you have any like crazy story times from like when you were on the road or with fans or just something like crazy happening to you?
I absolutely do. There was one time that I was in a hotel room with a couple of girls and we were sleeping and we did not realize that it was in Wisconsin. We did not realize that our hotel door did not lock. When you shut it, it didn't automatically lock. And a drunk man walked in and got into bed with us and fell asleep.
Oh my gosh.
He was wearing, it was the funniest thing. It was almost like a drunk golfer because he was wearing like a golfing like long sleeve shirt, but just boxers on the bottom. And he was very drunk and he just got into bed and he fell asleep. And then when we woke him up to tell him like, bro, this is not your room, he started getting mad at us for being in his room.
Oh my gosh.
Like that it absolutely could have been like terrifying and stuff like that. But like he was very much just like a drunk like 35-year-old and had no idea what was going on. But yeah, there's been some crazy shit happen in my life.
Oh my gosh, that is crazy. I always learn something new every time I talk to somebody about their crazy story times. So this is definitely like, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So I like to end all my interviews with a fun question. So we have, Thanksgiving coming up, and I know Canadian Thanksgiving already kind of happened, but do you have a favorite food that you always enjoy?
So one thing that I always make and enjoy is mashed yams, sweet potatoes, whatever you call it, with marshmallows on top. That's my favorite, and everyone always loves it, and someone at the table is always surprised by it. Like I thought that everyone does sweet potatoes with marshmallows on top, but it turns out they do not. So it's always like a fun little surprise to see who is like, oh my god, I've never seen this before and it's the best thing ever.
Yeah, I know we do that here. We like have one that has marshmallows and one without, and that's my favorite too. I love sweet potatoes for Thanksgiving. It's just amazing. Now, do you
honestly, I love it all. So I don't discriminate against any Thanksgiving food, but that's like my go-to. I could just eat it for the rest of the week.
Now, do you like to do the Black Friday shopping? I know that gets crazy every year.
Okay, so I don't, because we don't have, and we do now have it in Canada, but growing up we did not have Black Friday in Canada. It is just kind of like trickled into Canada from America like the past 10 years or so. So I don't really get into it the way people do, and I've never in my life like waited at a store for a Black Friday sale. I also just think now everything's online, so it's kind of crazy to try to wait at a store when you could probably like wait online and like click a button over and over to get your Xbox or whatever. I don't know. There's nothing I need in my life that I need to like wait for like and be there right when it drops.
It's a very interesting experience to say the least, especially like when you go to Walmart, like how you're talking about. Walmart is definitely interesting that time of year and seeing all the people.
Yeah, and I don't want to get trampled. Because that's what I hear about when I think about that when I hear Black Friday. I think of people getting trampled and it terrifies me.
I think it's changed over the years, it's not as much anymore, but you still see a lot of people and all the items are all over the store. You don't know where anything is, so you just like have to search around the whole store. It's definitely like a lot, but it's an interesting experience.
No, not for me. No, you will not see me on Black Friday out and about. I will be in my house with the doors locked.
Chelsea, thank you so much for coming on with us today. Can you tell everybody where they can find you on social media?
I hope I get this right because I always get it wrong, but you can find me on Twitter at I'm Chelseaagreen, on Instagram at Chelseaagreen, and you can listen to my podcast Green with Envy on Monday mornings on all digital streaming platforms. I think I got that right.
All of it will be linked in the description below. Again, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you.